It sounds like a bit of an exaggeration, but honestly, it's not far off from where we're heading to. We're in the middle of a silent transition on how money is operating as physical money like coins and cash are fading out. You're probably thinking, yeah, I still use cash all the time. What are you on about? But personally, I think we are way further into this than most people want to admit. And whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's worth understanding what is going on here. Before we even start talking about the future, we should look at where we already are. Because in some places of the world, a cashless future isn't even a future concept. It is already happening. Like Sweden, where less than 10% of their transactions involve cash. Some shops flat out don't accept cash at all. China is another one, where nearly 3/4 of all customer transactions are done through a phone. Almost 1 billion people use WeChat Pay or Alipay for basically everything. And here in the UK, only about 12 to 15% of payments are done in cash, when 10 years ago, it was half. That is a massive shift in a short amount of time. So the question is not really if this is happening, it clearly is. The question is why and what it actually means for us. The short answer, because many people find it annoying and inconvenient to handle cash. I know that's a bit of a harsh reason, but honestly, the biggest reason that pushes people towards digital payments is the slow accumulation of little things that makes using cash a hassle. For example, you're in the line at the shop and the person in front of you or the cashier is counting out change, penny by penny, cash by cash, while the queue behind grows. If you were to use digital payments, it bypasses the slow process entirely. You tap once and you're done. Then there's the popular use of online shopping, which has made buying things so easy that physical cash is becoming irrelevant. You can't give cash to an app or website, and you can't give coins to a streaming service. A huge and growing part of how we spend money nowadays, unfortunately, doesn't have a place for physical cash anymore. Businesses as well have their own reasons to prefer going cashless too. Handling cash, ironically, costs them cash, as it requires counting it, storing it, depositing it. Then there's the risk of theft, the insurance, and the time. Going digital makes everything a lot easier, even if the credit card processing fees, which can be between 1.5 and 3.5% per transaction, have their own bite. And finally, there was the pandemic, which had a huge effect on cash. When the pandemic hit, nobody wanted to charge anything. Because of that, contactless payments shot up overnight. Businesses that had never seriously considered going cash suddenly had a very compelling reason to do it, and a lot of them never went back. Add to all of that fact our smartphones. They are basically everywhere now, and you have everything in place for a world where your phone is your wallet. Here is where things gets interesting. Governments are not just watching this happen, they are actively trying to shape what digital money looks like. This is where CBDCs come in, which sounds incredibly boring, but is actually a pretty big deal. The idea is straightforward. Instead of physical cash being issued by the government and central bank, digital cash will be issued by the government and the central bank. In short, instead of government printing physical notes, they issue digital money directly. Same idea, different process. And some countries are trying to implement this. The Bank of England is currently in a design phase, working out whether to create a digital pound. The Bank of Japan is looking for a digital yen. The EU has been exploring a digital euro, and China is already rolling out their digital yuan worldwide. It's obvious why governments would want this. Having a digital currency that they control from the center gives them enormous visibility on how money moves. They can monitor transactions, implement monetary policy more precisely, and clamp down on tax evasion and money laundering crimes far more effectively. Anonymous cash transactions disappear. But here's the thing with CBDCs. A government-issued digital currency that can be fully tracked and controlled is also a government-issued digital currency that can be fully tracked and controlled. What I mean is that you won't have privacy basically. Many people are not thrilled about that. Those who support privacy have very serious concerns about this. This is simply not a conspiracy theory because the ability to track or potentially freeze every financial transaction of every citizen represents such a significant change in the relationship between individuals and government. And when you really think about it, what freeze every financial transaction means gets more complicated very quickly. We're not talking about stopping people from breaking the law. We're talking about a system where any government could stop you from buying food, paying rent, or filling up your car because of something you said online. Don't agree with a policy, post a different view on social media, follow the wrong religion or none at all. In a completely digital financial system, those could be reasons for freezing your account before you even have a chance to get a lawyer. And things like these are starting to shape up. For example, in England right now, people are being arrested for things they post online. In that world, everyone has to act like an influencer at all times, being careful what you say, who they agree with, and what they seem to believe. The only difference is that instead of losing brand deals, you lose access to your whole bank account. But so far, CBDCs haven't been implemented yet, as in 2025 in the US, an executive order actually banned the establishment of a US central bank digital currency altogether by Trump. Well, at least for now. Whosoever you think is right at that argument, it shows that the cashless future is not a straightforward path. There are real political battles being fought over what the cashless world looks like. Let me be fair, because there are good arguments on this side. First of all, crime gets harder when you eliminate physical cash. Physical cash is anonymous, and this is one of the great features, but also one of its biggest problems. Bribery, corruption, money laundering, all of that runs on cash because cash is untraceable. If we go digital, suddenly every of these transactions leaves a digital footprint. While this doesn't eliminate crime, it certainly makes a large portion of financial crime much harder to pull off on a larger scale. Tax evasion also becomes a lot more harder because every year governments lose an enormous amount of tax revenue, and digital payments can help close that gap. Then there's the security aspect for individuals, especially from theft. If your phone or card gets stolen, you can cancel it right away and your money is safe. But if your wallet full of cash is stolen, then that's gone for good. Moreover, with biometrics like face recognition and fingerprints, digital payments becomes even more secure. And let's not forget about convenience. This isn't just beneficial for consumers, it's also a game changer for developing countries. Mobile payments have allowed people to access banking services, especially in areas where there is little to no physical banks. Take Kenya's M-Pesa for example. It has empowered individuals who previously have no access to banks, save money, pay bills, and receive transfers entirely through their phones. That's a real life-changing transformation. Now it's time to present the problems, because there are plenty. The first and most fundamental point to consider is that not everyone has a smartphone or a bank account. Until that changes, going cashless doesn't mean everyone is using digital money. Instead, it means only those with digital access are using it, while everyone else is left out in the cold. Think about who this really affects. Elderly people who struggle with digital technology, people living in rural areas with poor internet or mobile services, people without a permanent address who can't open a bank account, and people who are in abusive situations. These aren't just rare cases, there are millions of people in these situations. And here's something that might or might not surprise you. Cash is actually making a bit of a comeback in some places. A survey from 2025 found that 92% of Americans say they have no plans to stop using cash. Cash stuffing, where people put physical notes into envelopes for budgeting, has become a trend, especially among younger people. That is partly a response to how digital spending can make money feel abstract and less tangible. Watching a number change on the screen doesn't hit the same as physically handing over cash, and for people trying to manage money carefully, that physical experience can be really beneficial. Now there's the resilience issue, which is quite serious. As the Russia-Ukraine war made cybersecurity threats, the Swedish government advised citizens to keep enough cash on hand in case of a war. Norway has passed legislation to make it easier to use cash, while the Netherlands, Austria, and Finland has told people to have cash as an emergency kit. Why is this happening? That is because digital payment systems need electricity, internet, and functioning servers, all of which needs to be operational at all times. If any one of those goes down, whether through a cyber attack, a natural disaster, or a simple power cut, you can't buy anything. Cash, on the other hand, is very reliable. It works in the dark, it works when Wi-Fi is down, and it works when a server has crashed somewhere in a data center. Even Ethereum's co-founder, Vitalik Buterin, pointed out that cash is necessary as a backup. One of the most important things to understand about this whole transition is just how uneven it is. In Sweden and China, cash is nearly gone. Meanwhile, in Japan, cash is still a big part of everyday life, even with the rise of digital payments. In Germany, on the other hand, cash has historically been deeply trusted and preferred. There is this German phrase, I can't pronounce it, which roughly translates as cash is king, and it's not entirely ironic. Germany has been one of the most cash-dependent economies in the world. In developing countries, the situation is a bit more complex. For some populations, mobile payments have been a game changer because they provide financial opportunities where none existed. Yet for others, the digital technology isn't there yet. Politically, views on going cashless are also evolving in unexpected ways. Across parts of Europe and the US, right-wing and populist movements have started to frame cash as a protection against surveillance and government control. The Czech Republic's new government is even looking to enshrine the right to use physical cash in the national constitution. Whether or not you agree with their politics, the concern about privacy and government power is a pretty valid thing to worry about. So what happens to cash? Here's the most likely answer. Based on where things are heading, cash won't disappear. It just becomes more of an option than a necessity. We're probably heading to where people are calling hybrid systems, where digital payment is the default and cash serves as a backup. The Bank of England has made it clear that they'll keep issuing banknotes as long as people want them. Now, the real question is just how many people will still want them in 10, 20, 50 years' time. What's most likely to change isn't cash versus digital, but rather the type of digital payments we'll be using. Will we be relying on private apps like Apple Pay or Google Pay? Perhaps government-run CBCs or something related to cryptocurrency? That's uncertain, and the answer will have big implications for privacy, control, and who gets to profit from the inner workings of our financial systems. Let me end on something I think gets lost in the discussion. Money is a social technology. It's a system of trust. You accept a banknote because you trust that other people will also accept it. You trust the bank because you believe your money will be kept there safely when you need it. Physical cash has a kind of democratic quality to it that we often take for granted. It is issued by the state, but once it's in your hand, it entirely belongs to you. Nobody can freeze it, nobody can turn it off, nobody can track it. You can give it to whoever you want for whatever reason, and that's between you and the other person. In contrast, digital money is always mediated. There's always a platform, a bank, a payment processor, or a government involved. Someone in the middle, and that middleman has the power to monitor, restrict, or block what you do with your money. This represents a significant change in the nature of money itself, and is something worth thinking about rather than just jumping into. None of that means that digital payments are bad. They can be incredibly efficient, but the transition away from physical cash isn't just about technology, it's about power. To conclude, physical cash is declining, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. But the convenience of digital payments, the growth of online shopping, the spread of smartphones, the impact of the pandemic are all contributing to this. But declining isn't the same as gone, as cash is proven to be very stubborn. Many people find that having physical cash actually helps them manage money. Crisis keeps reminding governments that relying solely on a digital system can be risky, and the privacy concerns of an entirely tracked and controlled financial systems are significant enough to spark resistance. So when it comes to the question of whether cash will disappear, the most truthful answer is not entirely, not soon, and probably not anywhere. But the days where cash was the standard and digital payments were the exception, that world is already gone. Your wallet might not be empty, but it's getting lighter.